Good morning, and great morning, everyone. Welcome to the Rise and Slay Morning Show. My name is Rochelle Slay Queen Hemingway, CEO and founder of Slay to Success. I advise and empower women professionals. And when I say women professionals, I'm talking about women who are at the top of their game and women veterans, all right, who have decided that they wanted to do something different in their life. They have done the career, they have done all the things, and they want more. Okay. And so, what I do is advise and empower them to step into a personal brand that can gain and attract lucrative opportunities. And we build brands here. All right. Because what we did in the past, all right, may not necessarily translate when you step into a whole new world. The clients that I work with, they're anyone from a tech space who wants to be a diplomat, a nonprofit or organization, social advocacy. I have several who are starting businesses from scratch. Listen, y'all, personal branding is the key because I also found that when I stepped into my personal brand, I started building it, I started, developing it differently than what I was doing over the past 30 years. And I'll get to that here soon. I have seen the opportunity show up and they're in alignment with what I'm trying to do. And I had to change my visual appearance. I had to change the language, the communication skills that I have developed over some time because it was not translating into the industry that I'm in now. And I also needed to show up online. All right. And so I have developed over the past few years a program that is designed for you to step boldly into the industry that you're trying to get into powerfully and confidently. All right. So on this show, I talk about personal branding to the nth degree. So if you are here, let me know that you are tuning in this morning. Okay, all right. Queens are in the building. I've got Chevy on the LinkedIn side. Good morning, Queen, and happy Tuesday to you. And I've got Madame on the YouTube side of the house. Good morning, Madame. Thank you so much, ladies, for being here with me this morning. I'm going to be talking about all the things. And so I also need to check on Facebook because, Facebook, y'all ain't trying to let me be great over here. And I don't know why, but you know what? We'll figure it out. So if I've got anybody on the Facebook side, they will pop up and I will see you because I got my phone right here. All right. So I start from the word slay. Slay means to kill it, to dominate it, and to nail it, to be on point, to impress greatly, to dream big and work hard until you own it. It is also an acronym that stands for Universal Life and Leadership Philosophies that really resonate with me, and hopefully they resonate with you too. And that is stay ready to be ready, lead out loud, a sense of community, and you are built to last. And so I have transformed the whole way that I show up into being a professional keynote speaker. I give presentations and workshops to organizations quite frequently. All right. I also am a personal brand expert, meaning I have spent a lot of time doing what I am doing, and I have done it to a point where now I can share insights to you on how you can start on your personal brand journey, or if you're trying to rebrand. I'm also a certified image consultant because I know that when our visual image is in alignment and it is used as a strategy, you will be top of mind. Okay, people will remember you because of what you're wearing and how you're showing up. And so I, again, got my certification in that because I know that is a big part of what we can do to set ourselves apart from everybody else. Excuse me, y'all. And then I'm also a United States Air Force veteran. Huh? So for anyone that is here in the audience that is a veteran, thank you for your service. I spent 30 years in the Air Force developing skills, Leadership, I could probably do that in my sleep. But what I really truly think about all the time is how can I inspire, motivate, deliver, translate what I do and how I do it so that way you can do it too. So Tish is on the Facebook side. I see you, Tish. Good morning, Queen, and happy Tuesday. And thank you so much for being here, tuning in from Canada. Okay. So today, y'all, we're going to talk about restoring your personal brand. And what I'm going to share with you as a little bit of insight as to my world, if you will, when I'm working out. All right. So working out is one of the things that I have done for a very long time. All right. And I'm going to be very transparent and vulnerable to all of you. When I was in the military, there was an image that need to be withheld. I struggled with my weight. I was 200 pounds all the way up into my junior year of high school. And when I got into the military, I went in at my maximum allowable weight. And at the time, it was 142 pounds. But what I didn't understand is how to maintain my weight loss. I was up and down all the time. But one of the things that I decided to do was focus on cardio, like cardio, 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 keeping me small, and then that way I am the image in which they were looking for. So over time, I have done cardio. Now, I also do weight training, but I was not focused so much on weight training because I saw if I could spend an hour on a treadmill or on a bike or running outside, you know, I'm able to keep my weight down. But over the years, y'all, over the years, my muscles have decreased in mass. I am 52 years old, and yes, it is Leo season, y'all. I will be 53 on Monday. And what I discovered was I was building atrophy in my muscles. And the first place that it showed up was in my legs. Okay. And what I mean is the tone on which I had before is not the way that it is now. All right. I could easily, lift weights, a little bit of weights, and be able to see definition right away. But as we age and as we mature, things shift. And so, what I've had to do was focus more on strength training as opposed to all this cardio. All right. And I've had to be very intentional about why I'm doing the exercise and understanding the reason why I'm doing the exercise is to build muscle. Muscle burns fat. Okay. I've known this for a very long time, but however, doing it has been two totally different things. So, over the course of about 3 months or so, I'm really focusing on heavy weight training. And I'm talking about lifting 40-pound, 50-pound weights, hand weights, because that's what I have in my gym. And then really getting to failure and really figuring out where my sweet spot is. And then here this week, I started to go back to the gym and getting under some weights because I cannot carry 50-pound weights for very long. So I need machines that have the weight to hold me up and I can go against the gravity, if you will. But that all took the research. It took the insight. It took the evaluation and an assessment of where I'm at. Even took the doctors to tell me, because I went to my annual exam last week to tell me, hey, I need you to focus on weight training. Yes, you can go do your nightly walks, Queen, okay, to get your mind right and so forth. But I really want you to focus on weight training because as we age, things are shifting and you want to make sure that nobody is pulling you off the toilet one day. Okay. And that's really where I'm at. I'm like, I want to be able to withstand my own weight. I want to be able to move freely. I want to be able to have the mobility. And so the mind shift has to change. So why am I telling you all this, y'all? Why am I sharing this with you? Because this happens with our personal brand too. If we don't pay attention to building and restoring our personal brand, because maybe there's been some atrophy, maybe you have been out of pocket for a while because life be lifing, what happens is everything that you have built up to that point, it disappears. All right? It absolutely disappears. So it's, having setbacks not only in our bodies but also in our personal brand is an opportunity. It's an opportunity. Hey Beth, how you doing? Good morning, Queen, and happy to slay. She's on the LinkedIn side too. And yes, y'all, you will see her on Sunday because she is my guest on the Slay to Success talk show. All right. So you don't want to miss that episode. All right. So be here on Sunday. Thank you so much for being here, Queen. So when we have these setbacks, all right, in our physical, all right, sometimes we have to think or to ourselves, how did we get here? And what do we need to do to change the way that we see things shifting? All right. One of the things is creating the goals, right? I've created a goal because my goal is when I go to San Juan, Puerto Rico next month as one of the keynote speakers and presenters at a women's retreat, I want to make sure that I ain't showing up in the best version of myself because we are going to be on the beach. We're going to be at the resort. All right. Not to say that I'm going to have all the things right because listen, hey, at our age, sometimes things are not as easy as it sounds, but I am at least doing things goal oriented. All right. I want to have, certain, pieces that I'm wearing. I want to be able to wear them and be confident in what I'm wearing. So even if we have setbacks, right, it's okay. All right. Here's the time for us to now restore. And now when we start to look at our personal brand, we're going to start to looking at how we can restore our personal brand. All right. So no one tells you when you stop doing X, Y, or Z, okay, that things were waiting for you. All right. There's no waiting. So because I wasn't doing the exercises that I needed to do, the strength training, the workouts that I needed to do, my muscles started to, there wasn't any. I was like, where did they go? All right. They don't wait. All right. They were weakening and they were doing it quietly. I like one day I saw myself and I'm like, oh, okay, we looking, oh, hey, Queen, we looking at right here. And then I looked at another picture. And I was like, oh, wait a minute now. All right. There's no warning. And it's just less and less strength each day. So I am now developing a new program for myself so that way I can start to restore my muscles. Great morning to you too, Paula. How you doing? Welcome to the Rise and Slay Morning Show, and thank you so much for being here with us. Hopefully, you're having a great morning too. And I got Tish said, I'm working out in the pool, aqua size and Zumba in the pool. Last week of free classes, but I'm committed to 4 classes a week and I'm showing up for me. It is changing everything. I have hope now. Wow. I love that for you, Tish. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. And she also says resistance training in the water is a safe way for me to build muscles. My arms are in need of action. Absolutely. And when we know, all right, and when we start to do, things start to change for us. And it may not be right away in physical appearance, but it is in the mind. Okay. And sometimes that's what needs to change first for us to continue on. So, what I am thinking about now more than ever is one rep at a time. Okay, one rep at a time. I cannot do what I want to do overnight. Things have to happen in sequence, all right? So if I have 12 reps that I do, I start with the one. Okay, how am I feeling at the one? Then when I get to the sixth one, I'm like, I got 6 more to do. I might have to put the weights down for a second and then come back at it. All right. But so I know and understand that I cannot develop anything overnight. Nothing that we have done that we have been very successful in has been built overnight. I served 30 years in the Air Force. I was at the highest enlisted rank in the highest enlisted position at an installation, which was Ellsworth Air Force Base in South Dakota. That did not happen overnight. It took a lot of work, sacrifice, dedication, commitment, and everything that I had was by me showing up. Okay. And so, how are we now translating that for many of us that have done these long careers and now we're starting a new business? How are we showing up for that? Please, okay, what I want us to think about is what you did in the past may not be very translatable and where you're trying to go. And the people and the places and the things that you were involved with may not show up for you in the next. You need to really think about how am I going to be intentional and deliberate on building my personal brand one thing at a time, one rep at a time. So I realize that when personal brands work in the same kind of way that I do when I'm working out and trying to now build the muscle that I need in this new era of my life, if you're not showing up, if you're not visible, if you're not communicating your value, your brand starts to atrophy. Okay. Your brand starts to atrophy. Okay. We got Chevy here. Chevy says we must show up to build the business and brand we desire. Absolutely. This is a daily decision on how you're going to do that. I have clients that I work with now who tell me that they started and build their business 5, 6 years ago. And because things were not happening right away, they just stopped. And I said, okay, well, let's just don't take it on back and let's look at what you were doing. Okay. And we have pulled back the curtain, if you will. And what it was the lack of discipline, the lack of commitment, the lack of understanding that things don't happen in a vacuum. All right. You need to show up and having to show up and saying the same things over and over and over and over again because you don't want somebody to get it mistaken on what you do and how you do it. But sometimes we don't even know what we do and how we do it. All right. And that's where I come in and I help you to discover that and build a brand that's not only strong, but it is profitable. And what I mean by profitable means you're making money. Okay. You're making money on your expertise, the skills, the experiences that you already have. Okay. But if you're not showing up, your brand starts to atrophy, just like muscles do when you are not strength training. So opportunities that used to find you, they find someone else. Okay. And your influence gets weaker. And before you know it, you're invisible in rooms where you once had presence. So think about where you're going to and think about the rooms and the places that you're stepping in. Do you have strong relationships with individuals within these organizations or places or events or whatever? If you don't, this is a time for you to start to build that and restore it. Okay, so Tish says, I have decided to do admin and client work on Mondays and Fridays to have a plan to do the brand work the public will see. This is what I'm talking about, Tish. You have to have a plan. You have to build around it. All right. You have to understand that personal branding is an action. No one will know that you are the best thing since sliced bread if you stay quiet and secret in a corner somewhere. People are not going to know. And then you're going to get frustrated and mad. And you're going to be like, no one is reaching out. No one understands what I'm doing. No one gets me. All right. No one sees me because you haven't done the work that is required to build the brand. And if we don't understand this, we're going to be getting left in the dust. All right. While everyone else is getting, they're eating at the table. All right. We're sitting there picking up crumbs. We don't want to be that type of person. All right. Not when we decide after so many years of doing something, we want something different and we are trying to accelerate success in that new way. Okay. Leslie, she's on a YouTube side. She says, love it. One post at a time, one video at a time, or one networking event at a time. That's what this is. All right. When we start to think about all the things, we get overwhelmed and we shut down and we say to ourselves, it's too much. I can't do that. I get, all the time, how do you do all the things that you are doing? How do you go here and be there and do this and do that? Why? Because it is intentional planning. I have my calendar. I'm not afraid to show y'all. I got a paper calendar here, my book calendar. I have it with me at all times because I have to figure out where I'm supposed to be for the family. That's number one priority. That's already scheduled in there. And then everything else I work around. If it doesn't fit in the schedule, I just don't show up. Okay. But I'm going to do at least one thing at a time. Tish says, I have been working behind the scenes all summer. I'm about to show up and be loud. Be loud, okay? And make a lot of noise, Tish, because you have to be able to break out of this. Well, I don't know. Like if I show up in DC, oh my goodness, all these people are kind of coming down. And then like that's what you say you want, right? So we have to do things differently. But we no longer can stay invisible. But here's the good news. And I like to share good news, all right? Good news is just like in the gym or in your workouts that you do, you can rebuild your brand strength at any point in time. All right. And you can come back stronger than ever. And that is my mentality right now, Queens. All right. I want to come back stronger than ever, feeling powerful, feeling confident in my own skin, and knowing that I decided to change things up. So, this is what we were talking about in your brand. This is a time for you to change things up if it's been status quo, or you said, you know what, I took a break. I didn't know. I'm not quite sure. All right. This is the time for you to start showing up. And all it takes is consistent reps over and over again. All right. So, consistent reps can look like a number of different things. All right. So, I'm going to share with you a few of those. First of all, I post a lot of thought leadership. So if you go on LinkedIn, okay, because LinkedIn is the platform that I'm using to build my personal brand every day. I post a lot of thought leadership because I got a lot of thoughts about leadership. All right. And the content, I never run out. I can always think of something overnight. And I'm just like, okay, tomorrow I'm going to talk about this. Wednesday I'm going to talk about this, Thursday, whatever the case may be. All right. But sharing your expertise consistently positions you as the trusted authority in your field. It does. Now, I'll tell you, I am like this book right here is my guidebook. All right. I actually read my own words on how to elevate my image, which is really about using personal branding as the strategy. And I know that when I show up on LinkedIn and I post about thought leadership, that I get the right people, all right, who also are there to understand where I'm trying to go. And so when you put these valuable ideas out to the world, You help others solve problems, you're sparking conversations, and you're creating opportunities to be remembered. And this thought leadership builds the credibility, attracts the right audience, because we're not trying to attract anyone who's out of love alignment or who is not going to vouch for us. Okay. Tish says, I am right there with you. Okay, Queen. And we also want to be top of mind, which means when opportunities come, people think of us first. They reach out. Okay. They say, hey, I was talking to somebody, because this happened to me last week, y'all. I was talking to somebody and I thought of you right away. And I got on the phone with a woman last week. She's having a women's empowerment event on August 24th. And she said, hey, I would love for you to come and share your story. Are you available? I looked at the calendar and I said, oh, wow, okay. I have nothing scheduled for that day. Yes, I'm available. All right. That came out of a referral because people understand what I'm doing, how I do it, because I am showing up. All right. And you can do the same. That's what with this personal branding is supposed to do for us. It's supposed to work. Okay. It's supposed to work for us instead of draining us and we chasing down things. All right. I'm not chasing down anything. I've already put that out there. I'm not chasing anything. I don't want to. I don't need to, because what I am doing is I am building the ecosystem. Okay. Now, so these consistent reps, all right. So, number one, posting thought leadership. Number two, updating your image so it reflects your power. Okay. So, our personal brand isn't just what we're saying. All right. It would be great if that would be the case, but it's what we show. What are we showing every single day? And this is when I talk about your appearance, your style, and your professional visuals. All of these things are sending a message to anyone, all right, about who you are and the value that you bring. So, updating your image to really align with your current goals and and strengthen your signals, okay? Growth, confidence, relevance. It helps you to command the attention and be taken seriously, especially in competitive spaces. All right? So, when I decided to change the way that I show up in my visual appearance for the industry that I'm going into, which is I want to be on more stages. Okay. When speakers are on stages, you are the form of entertainment. All right. When you are in the entertainment, you need to give people something to talk about in a good way and that they will remember you by. My color is pink. All right. Everywhere you see me at, you probably will see me in the color pink. But it is a connection because I go in bold colors, bold outfits, bold styles. It's very unique. I'm not looking to the left and I'm not looking to the right of me. All right. These are things that I decided, and this is what I help clients to do in the Brand Boldly program, is to figure out the style for which they want to show up. But when we show up, we are not playing it safe. Okay. Too many people are playing it safe. And when you play it safe, things are not happening at the rate that you would like for to because no one remembers you. Okay. So we have to realize that where we're going is in very competitive. There are a lot of people who are starting businesses now because of whatever, you know what I mean? Like whatever's going on. They're starting businesses. They are tired of where they are at and they're just like, you know what? I want to go and do this. All right. But what I'm telling you is you have to update your image. You have to update your image. You have to update your image. Okay. So I'm just going to say that on and on and on. All right. So that way it is in alignment and it's got to be visual on all your platforms, wherever you are at and wherever you're showing up. Google yourself on a regular basis and see what is happening and what people are, clicking on, if you will, that they want more of. Okay, so we've got Leslie here says, you have to brag on yourself for what you do, how well you do it. Muhammad Ali was the first to say he is the greatest and the world followed. And you know what, Leslie? He followed it up with action. He was knocking folks out left and right. All right. And that made everyone believe that he was the greatest of all time. They were like, yeah, he is. Because every time he's at he's in the ring, he's doing it. All right. And that's what we need to do when it comes to our personal brand. All right. So Tish also says the Tish Peruner, I always get that wrong, Tish, just updated her headshot. Yes. And these headshots, please get a professional headshot. We don't need to put the camera in front of us and do selfies anymore. All right. We are matured women, all right, who can go, and we have resources. So go get a professional headshot. Do it in something that, or in a color that gives you the most power. And, make sure you are presenting the person that they are going to see when you're offline. So keep it at that. Okay. The next one that we can do, these are consistent reps that we can do. Show up at events where your voice matters. All right. Before I was going here, there, everywhere across the DMV. I was like, I don't even know what's going on out here. I just want to see what group this is, what chamber this is, what organization this is, right? And then after I did the round the world in the DMV area, and I'm playing in my backyard, y'all, I realized there was only certain groups that really gave me an opportunity to voice and to share what I do and how I do it, right? Because presence creates presence. Being physically or virtually visible in the right spaces allow us to connect with influencers, decision makers, and peers who can elevate our brand. When we show up consistently, we build relationships, we gain insights, and we open doors. So our voice gains the weight because people see us as an active contributor, not someone who has disappeared or faded away. All right. So make sure we're showing up at events where our voice matters. And lastly, we need to reach out to reconnect with our network. All right. How are you reconnecting to your network? Relationships are the currency of influence. Relationships are the currency of influence. Over time, these connections can weaken if they're not nurtured. All right. So reaching out isn't just a nice gesture, it's strategic. So it refreshes your relevance, it uncovers hidden opportunities, and it builds a goodwill. So maybe there are some conversations that you need to rekindle. Maybe you need to be reminded or remind others of your value. And you need to reinforce your brand's presence and create pathways for collaboration and support. So, this is the consistency. This creates velocity. This creates the movement that you're seeking on helping people understand what you do and how you do it and the value that you bring. Because when you start these businesses or social advocacy work, you want people to hear about it and know about it. All right. Instead of it being some sort of kind of pastime. We are slay nationers, okay? Change makers, trailblazers, influencers. In this community, we don't just sit by and allow opportunities to pass us up. We create the opportunities, all right? We create these brands that all I need to do is find out who we are and they bring us in all day, every day. Okay, so this is one rep at a time. Small actions done consistently is going to rebuild the brand, restore the brand. Just like these muscles, like I was telling you about my own journey with this muscle strength training workouts I'm doing, I have to rebuild, and they rebuild influence. So one rep at a time, and you're going to stop feeling invisible. One rep at a time, and you're going to rebuild your presence. And one rep at a time, you're going to restore your brand power. And you're not just back on your feet, you're actually running the show. Okay? So I challenge all of you to do one bold, visible action before the sun goes down today. All right? So send that message, post that video, show your face. I'm going to tell you right now that when you start to do these things, that are the most scariest things that you've thought about, and overcoming imposter syndrome and the doubt and the fear of what everybody else is saying, all right? Because not a lot of people have the courage to do what we do, but when we do it, we show up for somebody else and give them an opportunity to do it for themselves. Okay, so that is the Slay or the Rise and Slay morning show for you all this morning. Hopefully, you got something from this and you're gonna take it away. And I'm gonna need to see your faces today. Okay, so I had Chevy on the LinkedIn side, Leslie, YouTube, Beth on LinkedIn, Paula, YouTube. Thank you so much, Queens, for being over there. And then I had Tish holding it down over on the Facebook side. Okay. So thank you all for being here live with me. And if you come back and you're watching the show again, put in hashtag replay. All right. Share to anyone that you know that may need a word of encouragement, because you never know where this could go for them. Right. And I will be back here on Sunday night with my guests, and Beth will be here with us on Sunday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I want you all to have a slay amazing week. All right. Build your muscle, okay? Because at this point in our lives, that's what we need to concentrate on. And we need to make sure that we're doing things that are going to help us, okay, in our journey and give us this power that we need. So we had I don't know how to pronounce your name, Queen. All right, Zillian. I and I apologize if I did not pronounce it correctly, but you said thank you for this. I needed to hear this today, Queen. Thank you for showing up, and thank you for your comment. I appreciate you. Okay, you got this, Queen. And Chevy says thank you, Queen. You're absolutely welcome. All right. So get on out there, Queens, because that's who showed up today. All right. And keep on slaying until you can't slay no more. And I will see you all very soon. Bye bye. Love y'all.